News out of Alaska this week. A massive airlift of hundreds of Alaskans is underway after the remnants of Typhoon Halong slammed into the state's western coast earlier this week. The storm's extreme winds and a powerful storm surge wiped entire villages off the map. Many residents have been sheltering in local schools with few accommodations. The National Guard says this operation is one of the largest airlifts in recent Alaska history. Unfortunately, a 67-year-old woman was found dead and 2 men are still missing. And the Red Cross said up to 2,000 people have been forced to leave due to the storm damage. This was a very powerful typhoon that was out across the the eastern part of the Pacific, curved to the north, and some very, very hot waters in the North Pacific kept its intensity pretty strong and actually led to some record low pressure in western Alaska.
Wow, and when I hear airlifted, especially that amount of people, it always makes me think that there just wasn't enough time to prepare. So are these types of typhoons just hard to predict?
They can be difficult to predict, but the thing is, we are making it worse by not funding the National Weather Service and NOAA, because there are many areas that we have balloon launches twice a day. We do hundreds of them around the world, and that's how we sample the atmosphere. And there are many places across Alaska where they're only doing one a day, and some aren't doing any at all anymore.
Yeah, that's definitely having an effect, clearly. So much different than that we're dealing with here than over there. That story gives us, we should be grateful that we saw 80s, I guess, right now. Clear skies, though, but that's not going to last for long.
Yeah, we're actually going to start to see some clouds as we head into tomorrow, but today was in the mid-80s. We're going to be in the mid-80s again tomorrow afternoon, despite the clouds. The thing is, we're going to have a pretty stout southerly wind. 85 for the high, exactly as forecast. The low is 59. We had said 60. 1 degree off. We aim for within 3 degrees, though. We'll take that. Right now, we're looking at temperatures around the Mid-South. 72 degrees here in Memphis, 68 in Tunica, 68 in Holly Springs, 64 right now in Oxford, and off towards the North Dyersburg, sitting at 70 degrees right now. Several degrees above where we were this time yesterday, especially across Arkansas and northern Mississippi, a little bit warmer out there. But many of us might think, well, why are we talking about severe weather? It's October, it's fall. Well, fall is actually a secondary peak of severe weather. And we've got the Pineapple Express. You may have heard of that before, not from the movie, but for the jet stream. That's bringing in a ton of moisture across the western U.S. We've been baking in the heat. Cold air is coming in behind it. And the collision of these 3 air masses is going to bring some rain across the central plains and then thunderstorms here into the Mid-South. As we get into our Saturday and Saturday evening, those storms will pass through the area. And behind that big jet stream trough brings in much cooler temperatures for us here across the Mid-South. So lots of good news on that side of things. Just got to get through the storms. Already seeing some of that moisture producing some showers and thunderstorms across the central plains, exactly like we were seeing in that last graphic. Hasn't gotten to us just yet. We still have a few clouds across Missouri into northwestern or northeastern Arkansas right now. We'll start to see the more clouds coming in tomorrow, though. We do have plenty of storm energy as we go through our Saturday, so that's going to be one factor that we see with the shear, with the instability, and with the moisture. All those ingredients are coming together for our Saturday. As we go through Friday, before then, lots of clouds, but still a southern wind around the area, so we'll warm up pretty fast tomorrow afternoon. Then as we get into Saturday, we start off sunny. That's a bad thing. That means we warm up very quickly. We've got that southern wind. It's going to be very breezy through the day. Winds gusting probably 20 to 25 miles per hour through the afternoon. Then as we get into the evening, those thunderstorms moving into the Mid-South. We could see that continuing through to about 11 o'clock, maybe a couple waves of that. And this is where we've got the chance for some severe wind gusts along the leading edge of these thunderstorms. We could see some gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour. We'll have to keep a close eye on that. It does linger a little bit overnight, but by daybreak on Sunday, everything clears out and we're left with that northwest wind. So we have a level 2 threat across Arkansas into just our central viewing area here from Dyersburg all the way down to Clarksdale. The threat diminishes the later into the night and the farther east it pushes. We could see some flash flooding. Of course, we are in the drought, so that could lead to some flash flooding around the area. But overall, I think the wind is going to be the primary threat as we go through the weekend. Tonight, overnight, we're going to see those temperatures dropping down into the 60s, some 50s around the area, all looking at mid to upper 80s tomorrow afternoon. We're going to be very warm on Saturday for that weather impact alert, but then things dramatically cool in. Remember how I said that jet stream brings in cool air from the north? We're going to see lows starting off the week in the 40s on Monday, and maybe again later on that week. We'll be right back here on ABC 24.